everybody to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
J.O.
The J.O.
Let's
Jeremy
go.
from Nebraska. Jeremy, are we hanging in there?
Oh, yeah. Talking ball. Loving it. Having beers. This is a beautiful Wednesday or Thursday, I guess.
That's how we got to do it. That's how we have to do it. You're filling in perfectly for Jabron, who's a little under the weather, but it's Halloween. Scary things happen. Spooky things happen. And we're not immune to it. This is WTL.
No, you see ghosts all the time. You see it on the football field. You see it here in the studio.
We're going to be talking about that young man here coming up. He's got the Sunday night game. But first, we got to start with a NFC North matchup. That is the Detroit Lions taking on the Green Bay Packers. 3:25 kickoff on Fox. Detroit, you're home. You're home. Excuse me. They are your road favorites by over a field goal, 3.5.
You don't see that very often
No,
in the
you
NFL.
don't. And it's a divisional game.
Yeah, this is. And I'm sure there's some stat that says the Packers haven't been this big of an underdog, at Lambeau Field in X amount of years or whatever. But man, the Lions are on an absolute tear right now.
I like the Lions. They're 6-1, 3-0 in this division.
Yeah, that's you know what? In the NFL, that generally means they're going to lose. This is doesn't that usually spell disaster?
So you like that plus 150 money line on Green Bay then?
Yes, I do. It just seems like one of those things. The Lions can't do any wrong. I honestly feel like they could have dropped 80 last week, but they could do anything.
How about that game against the Dallas Cowboys? That just got wild.
Right.
That was so weird, and Dallas was just taking it like, fine, win by 40. We don't care.
Yeah, who cares? Yeah.
It was weird.
Yep, they were ready for a day off.
I guess.
That's the thing. And I think the Cowboys are quiet quitting right now.
Is that what's going on?
They're out there, they're working, they're getting paid, but they've quit. But now the Lions look incredible.
They do. That's why they're a favorite here.
Exactly, and I love their kind of like roll into winning this division for sure. But if there's a team that's going to stand in their way right now, and it's not the Vikings, it's the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
And at home they've got to take care of business. So I don't know. This seems like one of those.
It does feel, and both quarterbacks have that red Q by their name. They're both listed as questionable.
Yeah.
Love was kind of dinged up last week, but we've seen that before.
Yes, we
and
have.
Packers typically find a way at home. I hate the Packers. I'm a Bears fan, but give credit where credit's due. It does feel like one of those games where I think the hook really plays into this. This line opened at 3.5. It stayed at 3.5. Over a field goal on the road. I don't care who you are, right? And it's a divisional game.
It's a divisional game. It's going to be close.
I think so, too. This total is just like the point spread here. It hasn't moved much at all. 48.5 is your total.
And that's the thing. It's going to be a close game. I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but we're heading into that time of year where it's probably, it's chilly, going to be chillier here. I'm sure it's going to be in Lambeau.
Yep.
It's going to be one of those things where the score is going to be at a premium. So I don't know. I kind of like the under or around that line. 48 seems a bit high right now. It's probably 48 because the Lions are offensively unstoppable, but this
they
is...
they are putting up the points. They
will
are putting
say
up the points.
This week, that changes. This is classic NFL.
Yeah.
Classic NFL.
Partly cloudy, 53 degrees at kickoff.
That's beautiful.
What does partly cloudy mean? Does that mean like there's
going to be some clouds out there?
There's just going to be a few clouds? Like some?
Simpsons. The Simpsons sky. That's a partly cloudy sky.
Okay, that's a partly cloudy sky. All right, I don't like the hook here, so that's why that 3.5 is keeping me away from Detroit. I like Green Bay as well, and I think the bookies got that just right, and that's why we haven't seen much movement on the total at 48.5. Should we move on to Sunday night?
I've been waiting all day for Sunday night, honestly.
You, just like the song. You've been talking about seeing ghosts. We are going to be talking about the man who's been having a really nice season, Sam Darnold, who's infamous. How do you say that? Famous, but infamous. Lee said, I'm seeing ghosts out there. And it looked like he was seeing ghosts out there when he played for the Jets, but it seems like that happens to everybody that plays for the Jets. Regardless, they are your 5-point favorite at home against the Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis Colts are still at 500. They're 4-4. Vikings are 5-2, and I think they have a share of the division lead, or they're a half game behind Detroit right now.
Detroit, yeah. And that's the thing. The big change in this, I would have said, this is Minnesota's game 100%. They look like the better complete team, but the Indianapolis Colts, Sunday Night Football, quarterback change.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco is back.
Are you sure?
Yeah, Anthony Richardson's been benched.
I thought I just saw that Richardson was going to say like, no, I'll play again. I thought that he said he was.
Oh, are they skipping that? Are they bringing it back?
I don't know where they're at with this. I thought I saw that Richardson was going to try and be the starter again.
Wow,
but I don't know.
Why wouldn't
I
he?
like Flacco?
I do too.
You know?
Yep. I don't like Flacco long term.
No.
But when you're an NFL quarterback and you're a guy entrusted, you're a professional athlete, and look at Jabron's out there doing marathons, and Richardson can't play a full football game without getting winded.
Yeah.
So, no, I like Flacco here. And if it is Flacco versus Sam Darnold on Sunday Night Football, that's must-watch TV on NBC.
It sounds like it.
And, I think it's going to be closer than that 5-point spread.
Well, you would agree with the betting public because this line opened up at 7. It's been bet down to 5.
Yep.
But the total is staying there at 46.5. Sometimes that Viking offense really clicks.
Yeah,
sometimes
it doesn't, though.
And sometimes it doesn't. They have a, but their last month, they've always scored over 20. I think their lowest output was against the Jets, 23. But they still won that game.
But they still won the game.
They still won the game.
No, this is a decent Vikings team that when you started the season, you were a little concerned because you lost your, first-round draft pick, a quarterback.
Yep.
You had a couple guys on defense die. And that's where some of the things you had in the plans weren't coming to fruition. But Sam Darnold, you put a veteran quarterback in there. The Ghosts are still in New Jersey.
Yes, they are. They're in the Meadowlands.
They're having
obviously.
a heck of a season. I don't know. I like the Vikings here. I don't like the 5.
I think I can get on board with that. Your matchup predictor on ESPN Analytics kind of has this at almost a toss-up, 52% chance Vikings should win this game at home. So doesn't that tell you that should be closer to a 3-point, 2.5 points type of a spread? Also, this is a record-breaking season in the NFL up to this point. 67 games up to this point, up to this broadcast, have been decided by 7 points or less. That is an NFL record.
Holy cow!
So right here, when it's almost at that toss-up range, as far as analytics go, and we're still seeing north of 4.5, sitting at 5. I like the Colts to cover here as well.
Yeah, that makes that 5 seem ridiculous, honestly, when you tell me that stat.
Yeah, a couple of those things there, yeah. Well, let's move on to Monday night. The train that is the Kansas City Chiefs keeps rolling along. They are 7-0, and they are hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs, they are your classic roller coaster team in the NFL, up and down and everything else. It's typical Baker Mayfield, right? He's going to pass for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns one week, and he's going to come back with 3 picks and 2 touchdowns the next.
I was just going to say 3 picks.
Let's see here. This line opened up at 8.5. It's still pretty much sitting there. You're seeing a lot of 9s. Your Chiefs are 9-point favorites at home. Chiefs haven't been covering all that much. Actually, they as a team they have. I was alluding to Patrick Mahomes being one of the leaders in the NFL in interceptions. He has 9 picks compared to 8 touchdowns, but it doesn't matter. The Chiefs always cover, and they always win.
The Chiefs, they are winning on the field. They're winning off the field. We got ripped off. The Kelsey brothers just won Sexiest Podcast Host of the Year.
What?
People Magazine. They were just awarded this yesterday.
Well, I got ours in late. WTL got in late. That's what happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're going to have to wait till next year before we collect it. But,
I was going to say, that's just wild that the Kelsey brothers won that. But yeah, the Chiefs, they're the team that has nothing that they're incredible at.
Yeah.
But they won't lose, right? It's like they don't know how to lose. They're the defending champs. There's nothing scary about them. Like they're in my, I'm a Chargers fan. They're in our division, and I'm like sitting here looking at it, going, "There's no chance we don't win this division."
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, Chiefs can't lose, and they're not going to lose this one either. It's
it's
wild.
Tampa Bay is too much of an up and down team, kind of like I was saying, kind of your classic roller coaster. And I really like Baker Mayfield, but they're on a 2-game losing streak right now. I don't think going to Arrowhead Stadium is a place to get right. at a night game, Monday night, all those things. And that's another thing that, I try not to put a lot of stock into, but when it becomes more in a trend, Kansas City performs in primetime.
Yeah.
Ask Joe Burrow. Ask the Bengals,
Exactly. Yeah, I wish I knew if Baker Mayfield was going to have a Zen in, ahead of the game. Because
he might do too.
That's the thing. If I knew he was going to have a Zen in, and what one is it spearmint? Is it wintergreen? If I knew ahead of the game, it might change kind of my perception on his performance. But since I don't know, I like the Chiefs to win this game. I don't like them necessarily to cover that 9. That's insane.
Yeah.
Especially the stat you were just giving us during the Colts-Vikings game, that every game's, within 3 or whatever.
Well, and Chiefs have been making a living out of that this year.
Yes, they have.
I say they only beat the Raiders by 7.
Yeah.
So and I think the Bucs are significantly better than the Las Vegas Raiders. I really do. Even though that was on the road, so you can see where the odds makers get this line. And to the bookies' credit, it has been bet up from 8.5. So you're going against the public money here?
Right. That's Harrison Butker seems to be the star of this team.
Yeah.
Am I wrong here?
Yeah, he is. Yes, he is.
Not just on the performance on the field, but he's just somebody that everyone's been talking about since the offseason. I like him being the performer here and winning the game for him. But
all right. But not by 9. So if I'm reading you right real quick, the total 45.5 really hasn't moved much throughout the week up to this point. You like the under?
I like the under.
Yeah. I think the under is solid as well.
Yep.
Well, that'll about do it for us this week, folks. Be sure to follow us on ESPN Tri-City Radio and their Facebook page. We're also on X, WTL_podcast or something like that. We're also on YouTube. That's been fun getting the shorts going, long feature-length videos, all that stuff. You're going to be featured on those YouTube videos this week, Jeremy.
Oh, man, I'm going to be a star.
And I got to thank you, Jeremy, for hopping on with us. Once again, we haven't seen you since preseason football, NFL.
Preseason, yeah.
Things have been going pretty good. You nailed it with your lad McConkey pick.
The guy's a stud.
Yeah.
He's got a
Georgia
name
Bulldog,
that
right?
you'll never forget. Yeah, incredible. But
Where can folks find you and find the Bottom 5 podcast?
So you can find the Bottom 5 podcast. It's the reverse power rankings, NFL, every single week, anywhere you find your podcast. Also find me every single week, the Laugh With Me podcast. Just jokes galore.
It's good stuff. For Jeremy Odom, I'm Andy Klassen. Thank you for listening. This has been WTL.